What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode number 132 of Siriani Says Sports, the jam-packed football show. We have a lot to get into this evening. But before we get into this show, I just want to say that no trash talk will be going on this program because of certain things that happen outside of our control that we can't really do anything about. But anyways, I'm Matt Siriani, and I'm doing pretty good for myself. That's all I gotta say. I'm not gonna go heavy. That's Ryan Barrett Jr. How you doing, Ryan?
Doing all right, doing solid. School today, so not terrible, but I do kind of have the little bar flu, which I know a lot of people my age have right now. So sore throat, coughing, sneezing happens. It is what it is. So ignore the raspy throat.
Well, let's hope for a speedy recovery, and you're a warrior for doing this tonight. And next, we got a returning Loro Antonio in the house. How you doing, Loro?
Doing good. Where's the intro, man? Where's everything? Where's that intro?
No more of that. We need a new one.
Yeah, we're gonna get a new one. I got an idea. Why don't we, after the show, the three of us are gonna discuss how we're going to make a new intro. Does that sound good for everybody?
Sure.
Because one thing that I discovered with the intro, the old intro that we have, Loro's not involved. He's part of the show, so we gotta find a way to integrate him in there. And then Ryan and I were just that was like 2, 3 years ago that we made the intro. So we got four.
Ryan's hair was like super short back then. Ryan's hair is like luscious and flowing now. I don't know why.
All right, we're gonna figure it out. We're working on the Kings to a new intro, and I'll have to call my buddy James Hartman for that. But anyways, we have a lot of stuff going on. We're going to get into the headline of the week. We're going to get into our picks based on the spread. We're going to get into our surprise, disappointments, and standouts of the week. We're going to get into our picks based on the spread and the return of Loro Knows and a little bit of fantasy talk and our picks based on the bets this week. So we have picks based on the spread and bets. So anyway, let's get started. So the headline is not a good headline to start off the show. Nick Chubb suffered a serious knee or leg injury this past on Monday Night Football. Laura and I called the game on Monday night. If you saw the injury on Twitter, you would know that the injury, basically Nick Chubb's knee got chopped out from underneath him. And that was the same injury that he injured in his college days back in Georgia. He's going to miss the rest of the year. It's kind of unfortunate. And unfortunately, based on what Ryan Sr. told me, Nick Chubb's career is also in jeopardy because this would be the second time that he has to totally repair his knee from the bottom up. What's up?
The same knee.
The same knee that he injured in college. So that's the problem. Obviously, Ryan has a little bit of a connection to that injury. We're going to discuss that later on in the show. But I want to get Loro's perspective first. Loro, how much of a blow is this for the Cleveland Browns?
I think it's a big blow because the Cleveland Browns are known for running the football. They're a ground and pound style offense. Losing him, I think, is a big blow. But I did hear the Browns are likely going to get back Kareem Hunt, and that's probably going to be some reinforcements to their backfield and all that. That probably will help.
And, to top on that, they did say that Jerome Ford is going to be the feature back moving forward for the Cleveland Browns this season. Again, you hate to see anybody get injured in general, but, for the Cleveland Browns, this was the one player that you did not want to see get hurt. Ryan, I know, well, while I have you for a second, I mean, how much of this is a blow to the Cleveland Browns and in general, just the NFL in general? Because Nick Chubb was one of the better backs in the NFL.
Oh, no, definitely. And I'm going to bring up another point is that it goes kind of it kind of more furthers the point of the whole drama we had in the offseason about the running backs of getting paid. Because now we've seen guys like Austin Eckler, guys like Saquon, guys like now Nick Chubb, who's now done for the season, guys like J.K. Dobbins, who's done for the season, right? These guys, at least for Nick Chubb, you can say he did get his payday already. Like Nick Chubb did get paid already by the Browns, so that is good for him. But, I mean, to see that happen to a 27-year-old stud running back, one of the best in the NFL, it sucks to see.
And you brought up a good point, and I want to bring this up to the both of you. So, obviously, when Saquon Barkley did not get his payday late in the offseason, people, specifically running backs in the NFL, were complaining about saying things like, oh, the running back position has been devalued. They deserve to get their pay. They're so explosive. They contribute a lot to the offense. But now you see these injuries happen to guys like Saquon, guys like Austin Eckler, guys like Nick Chubb and J.K. Dobbins. The list goes on and on. But I want to bring this up. So I want to bring this to Laura's point. So I don't know if you were around for the episode when we talked about the whole running back fiasco, but knowing these injuries and how much punishment the running back position takes, are we starting to see why they don't get paid as much because longevity reasons?
Oh, he's gone. I'll take. I mean, yeah, I
So,
think
so is
that
longevity kind of a problem for running backs in general? Is that the reason why they're not getting paid? Is that the reason why you're?
now we'll see how their backups do. We'll see how Matt Breida does for the Giants. We'll see. We'll see a lot. We'll see a lot of stuff that's going to happen. I mean, I know for the Browns, right? We're going to see if it's Jerome Ford, if it's Kareem Hunt. We got to see who it is that they bring in. We'll see how Matt Breida does for the Giants. We'll see how Josh Kelly keeps doing for the Chargers. But it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. All right. So Laurel, I don't know if you were here for the episode where we talked about the running back position being potentially devalued because of Saquon Barkley not getting paid till the last minute, and now we're seeing guys like Derrick Henry and other running backs say this is a disaster. God bless Nick Chubb. God bless J.K. Dobbins. All these other running backs get injured, but from your perspective, Lauro, do you think that running backs are not getting their payday simply because they're taking a lot of punishment and longevity is also something that's hard to attain? Is also something that's hard to attain.
Well, I think the running back position is already taken for granted. I talked to you about it yesterday that the running back position, it's easy to wear down from it because you're using a lot of mileage and a lot of carriage for all this. So that's my perspective on this. But I think now in recent years, this position has been taken for granted because you're not seeing a high paid running back right now. I mean, you're not seeing teams pay their star running backs as of late, you know? I mean, I think that's got to change.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, running backs really well. Ryan, what'd you make of that point that Lauro just made?
I think it's true. I think it's just. I mean, just the way the running backs are now. The fact of college that like colleges just produce running backs so quickly, and it's not one of positions like offensive line, wide receivers where you need multiple of them. Really, if you have one stud running back, you're kind of fine. And when you have these guys for 4 years, I mean, just look at the Patriots for all these years, right? Like I hate to always talk about them, but like if you look about it, right? Like think about all the running backs they've had. They went from Garrett Blunt, like all the way down the line, right? Then just more recently, they went from Damian Harris now to Ramondre Stevenson, right? And like didn't even drop off. Arguably, Ramondre Stevenson maybe even better, right? But other teams too, right? Look at the Niners. The Niners went literally from like they went from like Elijah Mitchell. See, like they just whoever like it's a lot of system based and stuff. And the problem is with running back, right? And we've heard it said all over the place, right? Is running backs can only do so much where like a running back can't just brute force his way through a defensive line, right? Like he needs the offensive line to block. And kind of what we saw with the Ravens this week, right? Like, sure, J.K. Dobbins goes down, Gus Edwards and Justice Hill look just fine. So, I mean, it sucks for running backs in general, but like, we'll see how like when a stud like Nick Chubb goes down, it's gonna be different because he's more one of those like old school backs, just a straight bruiser. Where like you guys look at guys like McCaffrey and Eckler, who are more modern style running backs, where if their scheme is for running backs like that, usually they can have backup running backs that can do the exact same thing, maybe not at high of a level, but have like equal production usually. So we'll see how Nick Chubb is because just he's an old school bruiser. So we'll see.
And now we're going to stick to the running back position. We mentioned Saquon Barkley just a little bit, but now Saquon Barkley's injury problems continue, albeit very briefly. So for those of you who are unaware, Saquon Barkley has an ankle sprain, albeit very, very minuscule of an ankle sprain. He was told that he should miss the next 3 weeks, the next 3 games for the New York Giants, including a Thursday night football game this week. But from what Brian Dable has said in an interview earlier this week, he said that Saquon Barkley is having a massive recovery and he's been rehabbing successfully well from the ankle sprain, although it could have been a lot worse. And I know we talked about Saquon. I mentioned Saquon a bunch because obviously Giants fan here in the house. Would you rush Saquon Barkley back from Monday Night Football against the Seattle Seahawks? Because me personally, don't play him on Thursday Night Football. don't do it because it's a short week. It's in San Francisco. You're probably going to lose that game no matter what. So I would put him back Monday Night Football, October. Let me think. So the 21st, 11 days later, that would be October 2nd. So would you put Saquon Barkley back October 2nd against Seahawks, or would you rather wait the 3 weeks and gut it out then?
I mean, I think he's definitely not playing Thursday, right? But I think a lot of it's going to come down to is his return to Seattle. Is how did the Giants look against the Niners? And I know that's a very, very unfair assessment, right? Because like we saw what the Niners did to the Steelers, right?
Mm.
And granted, the Rams, they probably should have beat them better at divisional game though. But it's really going to depend on how the Giants look on Thursday night. Because if they can't run the ball at all, which again, not a lot of teams can really run the ball in the Niners because their defensive line is stacked.
Yep.
We'll have to see. I think a lot of it's going to come down to is also how does Saquon feel, right? Like they play the Seahawks, right? It's Monday night, right?
Yeah, Monday Night Football, October
So
2nd.
I mean, they're probably going to see how he feels Sunday. So I mean, right now you think about it, right? Like he would have 2 full weeks to recover, and then Sunday would be like the end of the second week, and then at that point they'd see how he feels. Because remember, Matt, like you said, it's not a high ankle sprain; it's a low ankle sprain, which, if you guys don't know, aren't as bad as the high ankle. So usually players can sometimes come back in like 2 weeks. So I think depending on how much they may need him for Seattle, he may play. But I don't know. We'll see. If the Giants don't think they need him and don't want to rush him back, we may not see him play against Seattle.
All right, now Lauro, if you remember the Saquon Barkley situation, he's had a history of leg injuries. He tore his ACL in 2020, and now you have another 3-week injury, potentially worse. Let me ask you a question. How would you address the situation? Would you rush Saquon Barkley back for Monday Night Football in Week 4, or would you rather give him the whole 3 weeks to have him fully recover?
I would say he comes back week 4 because you're not going to play him now. You have the long week after the San Fran game. So basically Barkley should be healed enough to play against Seattle.
You would think.
And, that's a good point. I think Seattle is right where he should return. Don't put him on Thursday Night Football. First Thursday Night Football is not a good night to rush your stars back from injury. And I'm hoping that that's the case. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to get into the highs and lows of Week 2. And what this means, we're going to go through our surprise, our disappointment, and our standout for Week 2. So here's what's going to happen.
Do you want to do
We're
all
going to give our explanations for each so for the surprise, here's what the surprise can be. It can be a player or team or coach for the surprise. For the disappointment, it has to be a team. Standout has to be a team. So for Loro, who's new to the system and just returned, here's how this is going to work. So I'm going to start off with my surprise. My surprise for Week 2 is going to be the Washington Commanders, surprisingly. It's not the New York Giants. And the reason why I picked the Commanders is because they went into Mile High and they absolutely hung in there. They were down 18 points in Denver, Colorado, with the altitude issues, etc. And they played really exceptional football. Sam Howell and that Eric Bieniemy-led offense looked competent enough to get them the victory, and they did. Although I do gotta say, the Commanders did get away with a pass interference at the end of the game against the Denver Broncos. They got away with it, but if it's not called, it's not a penalty. So that's where I go. So that's my surprise. Now, I'm going to go lower first. Who was your surprise for Week 2?
I'm with you on that. It has to be the Washington Commanders. I didn't even think they would beat the Denver Broncos, but talking about that defense, that's been great, much better this year than it was last year. I mean, they got to Russell Wilson. They made plays when they had to, and I thought that they were going to allow the 2-point conversion, which they didn't, but I think Washington looks like they're for real now. I think they're going to run into teams like Philly and Dallas, where I think they're probably going to get exposed. But they haven't played anybody good right now. But they're going to be playing Buffalo this weekend, so we'll have to see about that.
All right, Ryan, who's your surprise in Week 2?
I mean, I was gonna go with the Commanders, but you know what? I'll mix it up. I'll go with both my Ravens. And I'm gonna go with the Ravens because it seems to me right now that the Ravens, I mean, if you saw their injury report, nothing else new when they have about 7 or 8 starters that just don't play, and that's just how they function. Right? But it seems like the offense may be back, right? They got a new offensive coordinator this year in Todd Monken. Lamar's back healthy this year. They drafted Zay Flowers. They signed Odell. Granted, Odell came out of the game, right? But the Ravens look to be sort of back on offense, right? Like, I mean, yeah, they won a shootout against the Bengals 27-24, right? But like it seemed like the Ravens, at least the second half, were able to march up and down the field convincingly on this Bengals team. And I don't know what's wrong with the Bengals right now. I think their offense right now is putrid. Joe Burrow's still hurt. Then there's an issue there. But I think the Ravens really look like they're trying to show that they are the team in the AFC North. Because the Steelers and Browns. Oh man, what a whew. So I think
the Ravens are football game that Laura and I had last night. But now it's time for our disappointment. I'm going to go to Laura first. I think I know where you're going to go with this. Who's your disappointment for week 2?
I would have to say the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, I say that because I felt like they should have completed this comeback against Baltimore, but Baltimore came in with revenge. And Joe Burrow being hurt kind of is like the last thing the Bengals need. So, and the Bengals, I know they don't play well in September, but I feel like that the Bengals are going to start playing better as the season goes on. So, I feel like Joe Burrow will be ready to go against the Rams. I think he'll get that cap braced up, and I think he'll be fine.
All right, now it's time for my disappointment. This disappointment, the reason why I'm shocked that Laura said the Bengals is because I'm surprised that the Los Angeles Chargers lost to the Tennessee Titans. Laura and I were talking all game long. This Chargers team was they were going to spank the Titans. Ryan Tannehill was probably going to get pulled. We didn't know what was going to happen. We thought Derrick Henry was going to.
That I sent Maddie about the Chargers.
What'd you say?
Do you remember the tweet I sent? Like the Chargers gave up like 900 and something points.
They've given up more points than they've scored.
That's disgusting. Justin Herbert is so good at the sport of football, and he's just getting let down.
Yeah, I know. The defense let him down. And remember, that was a $300 million defensive acquisitions.
But that's what's crazy, right? It's just not like they have like scrubs. They have Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, who all at one point were the best players in the NFL. Right? J.C. Jackson's last year on New England was arguably like a top 5 player for Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh, yeah. Joey
Bosa has always been a top 5 edge. Right? Mm-hmm. And Khalil Mack, yeah, he's getting older, but like still top 20 edge, maybe? Like it's and then Asante Samuel there, Derwin James, who everybody always says is the best safety in football. I don't buy it. Derwin's maybe top 5. I don't think he's top 3. I think it's probably Minka 1, Justin Simmons 2. Like I think there's better safeties out there than Derwin. So I don't really know.
And the worst part about the whole loss to the Tennessee Titans was the way that Brandon Staley handled the whole situation. This is the guy who's on the hot seat heading into the season because of that brutal loss to Jacksonville in the playoffs. He comes into the media and says a whole bunch of nonsense, saying this team is fine, we're not going to panic. But he did it in a way that just really left you scratching your head. So now, Ryan, I'm assuming you're going with the Chargers as well for disappointment of the week?
I'm not. You're not going to like me for this.
Who is it?
We go to the New York Giants. And I see that, and I'm just saying this. They won, right? But for me and a lot of fellow other people, a lot of you probably picked them in Survivor. And good God, Maddie, I do my heart almost like beat out of my chest about 5 times that game. I had watched it for week 1 of the Giants. Oh, Jesus. But like the reason the Giants are my disappointment, right, is because you would think, right, with Brian Daboll, the way that we know he is, right, after getting embarrassed week 1, Sunday Night Football at MetLife Stadium, right, you would have thought against a crappy, I don't want to hear it. They are bad. They're a bottom 3 team in football. And the Giants beat them by 3 points. The Giants, I don't know what it is, Maddie. I don't know what the Giants defense is doing. The Giants defense has let up 70 points. 70 points into there is a problem with that. Against sure. You gave it up against the Dallas Cowboys, right? Maddie. The Arizona Cardinals.
Right.
1 foot in the door for Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. We know this. This is what they're doing. They are actively tanking. Them, the Bears, there are teams that are bad. And the Giants should not lose or not lose. The Giants should not be in one-score games with teams at the class of the Arizona Cardinals. It just shouldn't. It shouldn't happen. And like, sure, Giant fans, yeah, you can celebrate your win, but if I was a Giant fan right now, Maddie sitting there, I would not be jumping for joy that they won. I would be very, very nervous.
Wow. I mean, you're going on the opposite side of the spectrum. Everyone was saying, "Oh my God, their comeback was amazing. Way to hang in there, Daniel
They should
Jones."
have never
Yada, yada,
needed
yada.
to make that comeback. They should have beat that team. Should have been up by 14 points at halftime. Name me 5 players in that Cardinals defense, please.
5 players on the Cardinal defense. Oh my God.
Exactly. Name me 3. Name me 1.
I know. Maybe 1. I probably know. That's
Budda Baker.
Budda Baker. Yeah, that's it.
But that's my point, Maddie. The fact that the Giants were scoreless through 2 quarters against that team is an embarrassment. Is a first-class embarrassment. I don't know what it is. I think Dable's going to turn the offense around. But also put this in respect with Giant fans. Sure, you won. You were scoreless for 6 straight quarters.
Right.
Straight quarters. And sure, am I yelling? Yeah, because I'm visibly and morally inside angry with the New York Giants. Because do I hate them? No. Do I like them? No. But like, I like football, right? And I want the NFC to be competitive. And the NFC cannot be competitive if the Giants play like this. Right now, Maddie, it's a 3-horse race. It's Philly, Dallas, and it's San Fran, right? We put the Giants, I know, Maddie, before the season started, we put them in the class as the Lions and as the Seahawks. They're not in that class. They are not as good as those teams. They might even be worse than the Rams. They might be worse than the Bucks. They might be worse than the Falcons.
Oh my God.
Who might have the worst quarterback in the NFC. They don't look good. And their schedule's not any help. Their schedule's not going to help them either. I'm sorry, you're getting mollywopped by San Fran on Thursday.
Yeah, I think no matter what happens to Saquon Barkley or not, I think
the
Giants are in for a rude awakening.
The real test for Giant fans now is to see how they play against Seattle. Because that's the team they're chasing right now. That's the team that if they're on par with Seattle, they got a shot. You lose to Seattle? Uh-oh. So, yeah, sure. Am I a Giant hater right now? Sure. I'm just trying to let you Giant fans stay level to earth. Because I know how it is. Listen, I'm a Jeff fan. I understand. You have to stay level with this stuff. Sure, you take your win like I took the win week 1 against the Jets. But then reality comes in real quick. And, Maddie, your reality is going to be next week. Real hard.
Yeah. All right, now for our week 2 standout. So this is the best team that caught our attention over the course of the week. I'm going to go first, and then I'm going to give it off to Laura and then back to Ryan. So my week 2 standout, I hate saying this team's name, but it has to be the Dallas Cowboys. I know they played the New York Jets with Zach freaking Wilson, but at the end of the day, the defense looked incredible. Dak Prescott didn't have to do a lot. Tony Pollard's just one of the best backs in the NFL. I mean, they're one of the more complete teams in the NFC. And I know people say, oh, it's Super Bowl, it must be the Dallas Cowboys every single year, and I hate it. But I guarantee you, they can challenge Philly. They can challenge San Francisco. And I know they mollywopped the Jets. Sorry, Ryan, but I know like this team is so good. They're so good. Micah Parsons is a nightmare to block. A nightmare to block.
I saw comparisons that Micah Parsons might be the next coming of LT. He really damn well might.
He very well could be. That's the scary thing about it. All right, Laro, who's your Sunday standout for week 2?
I would have to say it's the Dallas Cowboys like you. I mean, even though they haven't played anybody good on their schedule, you know, I feel like that their defense is just off to a great start. And if the defense continues to play the way they are heading into the playoffs, this defense could make it to the NFC championship game.
And it's funny because remember the DJ Reed comment where he said this team could be like the
85 Bears, baby.
The 85 Bears 2013 Seahawks. Remember that comment, guys? That comment is like right out the window right now.
Can I just say one thing, Maddie, about your little thing about the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah,
Can
sure.
I just say Can I say 2 words?
Sure. 2 words.
Dak Prescott.
Oh my god.
Dak Prescott damn well threw a pick six on Sunday. Got
He almost did.
so lucky, so lucky. They will not contend with the Eagles and the Niners as long as Dak Prescott is their quarterback. It will just not happen. You can book it. You can whatever you guys want to do. As I will say it again, as long as Dak Prescott is your starting quarterback, you will never, ever win a Super Bowl. Ever.
That's music to my ears.
I'm just not. It's just the cold, hard reality. They will never win.
I love that. All right. Anyway, now your Sunday standout. Who is it?
Yes, so I'm gonna go a little bit different than you guys because I'm also a Jeff fan. So I gotta be like, screw you, Cowboys. But I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Bills because, man, the Buffalo Bills look like they're back, and from what statistics have shown, right?
Yeah.
Oh, everybody wants to criticize. Josh Allen just can't play against the Jets. In 3 starts, he has been bad, right? And I think Josh Allen proved it again, right? The Jets just have his number. It happens to some teams. Some quarterbacks can't play against certain teams, right? But the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen look like they are back because a Raiders team, right, that I thought was not good, showed that they are not good. They did to the Raiders what the Giants should have did to the Arizona Cardinals. When you are severely better than a team, that is what you do. You beat them by 35 points. That's what you do. You beat them by 3 scores, and you bury them. So for me, it's the Buffalo Bills, just because, when you talk about equalizer, right, and everything, right, like teams that have to get right, like how a lot of people thought the Bengals were gonna have, like, this was a get right game for them against the Ravens. The Buffalo Bills, whatever they did, whatever magic they had to pull, whatever conversations they had throughout the week, it worked because the Buffalo Bills look like they're back. Granted, it's 1 week, they look like they're back.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That was a good pick. The fact that the Buffalo Bills came in, did what they had to bounce back. That's really what they ultimately did, and they had to. It was no contest at all. Jimmy Garoppolo looked like a deer in the headlights against that Bills defense. That Bills defense finally showed up against a team that they were supposed to beat. So ultimately, I like that pick a lot. Now, before we get into our picks based on the spread, this segment is for me and Ryan. We're going to get into our 3 bets that we like for the week. And we're going to also say the 1 game that we're not going to touch. Then after that, we're going to get into our picks based on the spread with lower notes. So, this is sponsored by DraftKings and by Yahoo Sports, those 2 platforms that we use to pick our bets. If you have a gambling addiction, please seek help.
1-800-GAMBLER.
1-800-GAMBLER.com. So let me just get my good old trusty phone out here. And now, let me take a look at the bets right here. So, all right. So, according to Yahoo Sports, the bet that I like, according to what I got, at least. Actually, I have it in my notes right here. So, my first bet, and this is probably an easy one for me to pick, because actually I've been riding this team all season long so far, the first 2 weeks. I'm going the Packers -2 over the Saints. Because I'm thinking Christian Watson's going to come back.
Ooh.
I think Christian Watson's going to come back, and that Saints offense did not look great. The defense for the New Orleans Saints is great, but I think they're due for a letdown game. This Packers offense can score, and I think if you add Christian Watson to that offense, Jordan Love's going to look a lot better. So I got the Packers -2 over the Saints again. I picked the Packers +1.5, and I hit that over Atlanta, and I picked the Packers +1.5 over the Bears, and I hit that too. So I'm riding the trend. I'm sticking with the Packers. My second bet, hammer this one. Chargers Vikings over 54.
That is a fact.
Hammer that bet.
Hammer
that bet. Because these are 2 terrible defenses. They're both 0-2. They're both looking to win their first game. Kirk Cousins and Justin Herbert are both going to sling it out because these secondaries are so awful. It's going to be ugly for those. If you're a defensive player, if you're a defensive lover, you're in trouble. But hammer that bet. 54 points. Chargers, Vikings. Hammer that bet. And then my third bet that I'm going to take is this is an obvious one. Cowboys minus 12.5 over the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, Cowboys again haven't had an easy opponent. They're gonna get another easy guy. Cardinals, I don't know how they hung in there twice versus the Commanders and the Giants, but they're got another divisional game. It's not gonna be easy this time around. Josh Dobbs is gonna be like a deer in the headlights. Imagine Micah Parsons coming at you. And actually, if you want a prop bet, I say Micah Parsons gets 3 sacks this game. 3. That's how ugly it's gonna get.
Oh, that is a fact.
All right, now Ryan, your 3 bets that you're going to take this weekend.
Yeah. So I'll go with my most risky one first, right? And it's gonna be the under for the Steelers and the Raiders. Those are two not pitiful, but not good offenses. Two quarterbacks that are very eh.
Right.
So I'm gonna go under there. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of points scored in this game. My next bet, right? And I think this, for anybody that wants to listen to me, I think this is a absolute lock. And it is going to be I just lost it. Oh my god. It's the oh my god, what did I just do?
Is it under or over?
Sorry, no, it's not an under over. It's a spread. I found it. Okay. So it is going to be the Seattle Seahawks plus 5.5 against the Carolina Panthers. I don't know how the hell Carolina going into Seattle is going to be within a touchdown of this team. I mean, Seattle beat the Lions, who I thought after week 1 looked better than them, and they came into Detroit and beat them. Right? Geno Smith looked like he was okay. Granted, did they get away with a little bit of a hold at the end of the game? Sure, right? But it is what it is. That's how football is, right? But I don't know how this Carolina Panthers team, led by Bryce Young, who doesn't look awful. Their defense does not look good. I mean, they just lost to the dreadful Saints, who don't look good either. I mean, so I would lock in Seattle Seahawks minus 5.5 against the Carolina Panthers. And then my third one, Matty, I'm going to agree with you. Dallas Cowboys, Arizona Cardinals. Oh, God, does it feel good to have the Dallas defense in fantasy? Oh, thank you, Micah. Oh,
Micah Parsons.
So, I mean, God, the house, the kids, the everything. Slam
everything up minus 12.5?
Slam it. Cowboys, slam it. House, kids, everything.
Okay. Now for the game that you're going to stay away from betting this weekend. What are you going to pick?
Oh, God. There's 2 games I look at, right, Maddie, when I look at this, and they just scare me. The Patriot-Jet game, I am not touching with a 10-foot pole because, my God, Zach Wilson cannot play against Bill Belichick, but that Patriots team is so bad. So bad on offense. And in the other game I'm not going to touch, Maddie, is the Saints and Packers. I'm not going to touch the money line or spreads in this game because that game's very close to call. Because you got 2 good defenses in the Packers, the Saints. You got newer offenses, but Jordan Love, obviously, and then Derek Carr going into a new system. So those are the 2 games I'm not going to touch.
Okay. I'm also going to say stay the hell away from Patriots-Jets. Please stay the hell away from that game. Because Zach Wilson cannot perform against the Patriots. That's number 1. Number 2, the Patriots might be running a 13-14 game winning streak against the New York Jets, but oh my God, like that game is going to be like up in the air. That game is going to give you anxiety. It really is going to give you anxiety if you're a bettor.
Follow me.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm going to be watching that game over every other 1:00 football game just pains me to my soul.
I know Laurel's going to be watching that game. Right, Laurel? You're going to watch Patriots Jets this weekend? Yep, he's giving me the thumbs up. Okay.
For sure. I think we're going to blow them out.
Keep that energy, Laura. You keep that energy.
Okay. Now it's time for all our favorite segments on the show. And actually, we're going to add it with a little twist. So for those of you who don't watch our sister show, Talking Sports with Laurel and Matt, Laurel came up with a system of handicap picking, which is where we pick games based off by 3, by 7, or by more than 7. We're going to integrate that into this system when we do picks based on the spread. So as you probably know, we pick games based on the spreads. That's the name of the game. But then Loro, he's going to pick games based on 3-7 or touchdown, 3-7 or blowout games. That's how we're going to do it. So we're going to go game by game, one by one, and then we're going to give our picks for the entirety of week 3. All right, so
I got him.
Week 3. All right, you got it?
Yeah. So Giants, Niners minus 10.5.
First off, that bet was at minus 10 prior to Saquon Barkley's news. He's probably not going to play Thursday Night Football. Give me the Niners at minus 10.5 easily. This is going to be a blowout in the blowout category, as Laura would say. Laura, where are you going with this?
I'm going to say 49ers in blowout because Giants are coming off a short week, and that 49er defense is going to get to Daniel Jones. That offensive line of the Giants is not going to be ready for that.
See, Maddie, this is what we call an old-fashioned snooze fest. This is not going to be close. This is going to be an absolute snoozer. So give me the Niners plus a lot of points. A lot of points are going to be screwed. The Giants are going to be down by a lot.
Not going to be pretty at all.
Might be an early night for a lot of Giant fans.
Yeah, I'll be going out that night with my friends for a karaoke night. I'll be singing the blues that night. That's for sure.
Hell yeah!
I'll be singing the blues that night.
Maddie, don't worry. Friday, Maddie, the bars are open. It's okay. They're here for you.
All right, Ryan, what's next?
So next, we got the Colts, the Ravens. The Ravens minus 7.5, which I hate these spreads. 7.5 is a brutal number.
That's a brutal bet. And we don't know the stats of Anthony Richardson because he's in concussion protocol after scoring 2 rushing touchdowns. It's a blow to the Colts offense. If not, it's going to be Minshew Mania Part 2. If Anthony Richardson can't go, 7.5 minus the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson had a little bit of a hand problem, but he's flexing it. He has all the extremities in his hand. He's fine. So likelihood is he'll play against the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday. Give me the Baltimore Ravens minus 7.5. I'll take that all the way. Laura, what about you?
I'm going to pick the Baltimore Ravens by 7.5.
I am too. All right, next.
All right, what's next?
Denver Broncos, Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins minus 6.5.
Denver Broncos, Miami Dolphins minus 6.5. This game is in Miami. Tua Tagovailoa. What? Well, you can call him turn the ball over, but he looks phenomenal in the first couple of games. I mean, the game against the Chargers, he threw for 466 yards, and he just looked straight up great. And I like the muscle mass that he put on with the yoga stuff that he's been doing. The Denver Broncos are trying to get a win. They can't win a game if their life depends on it. They lost 2 home games to the Las Vegas Raiders, who they should have beaten, and the Washington Commanders, who they probably should have beaten. But with all that being said, you're going into Miami. It's going to be really hot. You don't have the altitude advantage for you. And on top of that, Tua's playing really good football. I think Tyreek Hill is going to run through that Broncos secondary. And it's not going to be pretty. So, you know what? Give me the Miami Dolphins by 6.5. Laura, where are you going with this?
I'm going to pick the Miami Dolphins. I mean, Denver should have won last week. And I think the Dolphins look like they could win the division, win the AFC East this year based on how they're playing. Then the chance for the Miami Dolphins.
All right, Ryan, what about you?
Just remember, Lauro, Tua's always hurt. Just remember, I know he's your Bama boy, and I know you love him, right? But I am gonna go with the Dolphins as well. All right, I think Mr. Tyreek is let's just say pretty fast, right? And I think it's gonna be a good matchup between him and Patty Surtain, but I don't think Surtain stands a chance. Jalen Waddle too. It's going to be rough. It's looking like it's a 3-0 start for the Miami Dolphins on the year.
Yeah, 3-0 start for the Miami Dolphins looks really good. Tyreek Hill's called the cheetah for a reason. What's next?
Next game, the best game of the weekend. New England Patriots, New York Jets. Patriots minus 2.5.
I'm going to let you two go first. I want nothing to do with this. Ryan, go first.
I want nothing to do with this.
Ryan, go first.
So, Maddie, there is something called, if you've never heard of it, it is called Juju, right? And if you know what that is, right, it's, do you know the famous saying, right, where they say never bet on your team? I'm going to bet on my team because what happens when I bet on my team? Bad things happen, right? But
yeah,
if I don't bet on them, they still lose. Right? But screw that. I'm going to go the Patriots -2.5 because all I'm going to say is, like I said to you, Manny Toloro, don't lose to Zach Wilson. Don't do it. Don't do it. Right now, dude, the Jets are at a point right now, dude, where they got nothing to lose. And when you got nothing to lose, Manny, you are a scary team. Look at the Arizona Cardinals. Nothing to lose.
All right, Loro, 14-game winning streak versus the Jets. Does that continue?
I think that continues because I think that the Patriots losing 2 games was like we were involved in 2 close games. I think that this is a game where I think we're going to put on the brakes and take.
Okay, now it was my turn. Patriots are -2.5. I'm gonna take the Patriots -2.5. You can't lose to Zach Wilson in that Jets offense. It's just simple as that. I mean, Zach Wilson's been nothing but a disaster. And honestly, I thought he would progress after learning a little bit from Aaron Rodgers. Clearly, that hasn't happened. What's next?
Can't let it happen. So next, Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars. Another snoozer.
Yep, big time.
Must be nice to have Trevor and Ridley in fantasy.
All right, what's the spread?
9.5 Jacksonville.
9.5 Jacksonville. You know what? I would pull off the opera that I usually do, but who cares?
Damn right.
Jacksonville's going to blow the brakes off of Houston. It's not going to be pretty. Jimmy Jacksonville -9.5. Lower, where are you going with?
Right.
Duval County, baby. Duval County.
Duval County. Let's go. Goldilocks is about to feast on some Houston Texans.
And let's see if the Calvin Ridley Trevor Lawrence connection actually pays dividends this time around.
Bliss, sir. Bliss.
All right, what's next?
So next, we got Tennessee Titans, Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns are -3.5.
Browns -3.5. You know what? That's surprising because they just lost their star running back. And we figured we were going to clash of the 2 running styles where it's like Derrick Henry versus Nick Chubb. But apparently Jerome Ford and possibly Kareem Hunt are probably going to be handling the carries for that Browns backfield. Ryan Tannehill, I've never been a fan of up until
Never.
I've never been a fan. I mean, it's just unfortunate. I mean, Will Levis is just warming up on the sideline, waiting for his chance. And the Titans should not have won that game against the Chargers. That's just how bad the Chargers defense was. But in all honesty, I'm concerned about how the Browns offense is going to look without Nick Chubb. I mean, Deshaun Watson looked horrible. He turned the football over 4 times, was sacked 6 times, and pressured a bunch every play. And honest to God, like, it was just a disaster for Deshaun Watson. Not having a safety blanket like Nick Chubb is going to hurt your offense. So honestly, give me the Titans +3.5. This is the first underdog that I'm going to pick this week. Laura, what do you think?
Again.
All right. You're going with the Titans?
No, I'm not going with Tennessee.
So you're going with the Browns.
Yes, still going with Cleveland. Just without Nick Chubb, feel like that the Browns will find a way.
I'm going to go with the Titans because Deshaun Watson is hot garbage.
All right, so 2 out of 3 for the Tennessee Titans.
Atlanta Falcons and Laurel. You're going to like this. I'm bringing it back against the Detroit Fighting Dan Campbells. I love this team. I love the Lions. I love them.
All right, what's the spread?
3.5 to the Lions. My team. Love these guys.
I love these guys. And by the way, I just want to bring this to everyone's attention. Jeff Saturday got rehired by ESPN, by the way. So that's amazing. Good for Jeff Saturday, man. He deserves his spot on Get Up and on ESPN, the network.
Fighting Jeff Saturdays, baby. What a team.
So he deserves his spot. Good to have him back. But I think we should call the Lions the Fighting Dan Campbell until Dan Campbell retires, or whether he gets fired. But
he's not getting fired. They will never fire him. I love this guy.
No, I love that guy too. And I know Laurel loves that guy. So
that is my
call the Fighting Dan Campbells for Laurel's sake. So
I miss calling them the Fighting Jeff Saturdays.
No, that was funny.
Colts. Lady Jeff Saturday.
All right. In all seriousness, back to the game. I gotta go with the Fighting Dan Campbell's -3.5 over the
Yeah,
Falcons.
right.
The Lions are they're for real. I know they lost in overtime to Seattle at home, but they're gonna bounce back easily. Laura, what do you got?
Going to the Detroit Lions. I think this team is, even though they lost to Seattle, the Lions, I think, are about to take off, baby.
All right, Ryan, what do you think?
Detroit, stand up. Detroit Lions -3.5.
All right, awesome. What's next?
New Orleans Saints, Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers -1.5.
All right, well, you obviously know what I said earlier. I said the Packers were going to cover the 1.5, 2-point spread. I mean, obviously, you get different signs from different betting apps, so that's how it's going to go. But like I said before, I like Jordan Love, especially if he's going to get Christian Watson back against the Saints defense. I wouldn't go crazy as far as points scored is concerned, but I do think the Packers are going to win this game. I'm 2-0 against them. I'm 2-0 with them against the spread. So give me the Packers. Laura, what do you think?
I'm going to pick the Green Bay Packers to win. I mean, they lost. But even though they lost to Atlanta, I think they bounced back.
All right, Ryan, what do you think?
A lot of it's going to come down to is Aaron Jones going to play? And I don't know if he is. But then you also got to account that Jamal Williams is not going to play Sunday probably. So it comes down to, do I trust the Saints defense against Watson and Dobbs? Or do I trust the Packers defense against Chris Olave and Mr. Slant Boy himself? Oh, God. I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints +1.5. I'm gonna go with the veteran team. I'm going to do it.
You're going with the veteran
The
team.
youngest
All right, what's
offensive
next?
football for a reason.
Okay, what's next?
Buffalo Bills, Washington Commanders. Buffalo Bills -6.5.
-6.5 against the Commanders. Oh my God! So it's a battle of a team that should be 2-0 versus a team that is 2-0. The Commanders, Eric Bieniemy led offense looks really good. Not gonna lie, Sam Howell looks good. He's not great, but he looks good. I mean, you can see Eric Bieniemy's influence on the offense is already transcending. 35 points against the Denver Broncos at Mile High was actually kind of impressive. The Bills are -6.5, probably because it's Josh Allen and they pounded the Raiders last week. So I'm gonna stick to that trend. I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Bills -6.5. Literal, what about you?
I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. I mean, the Bills, despite losing to the Jets, I think this team is starting to pick it up pretty slowly, I tell you.
All right, Ryan, what about you?
I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. I think it's going to be close, but I do think the Bills win by a ton.
All right, so they
Next.
barely cover the spread. What's next?
Next, my GOAT, Justin Herbert, against Maddie's GOAT, Kirk Cousins. Overrated. But Chargers -0.5 points. So basically a pick 'em. Who's winning, boys?
Oh my God.
0-2, the two choke artists going at it.
The two choke artists. First off, the Minnesota Vikings have already lost 2 one-score games after winning 11 last year. And the Chargers defense is not good. I mentioned that before. Hammer the over for this game, over 54 points if you haven't already. And I would probably go with that again. But I am going to say this is a tough one. Who's favored in this one by how many points?
The Chargers are favored by 0.5 points.
Oh, so it's almost a pick-up.
Yes, it is basically a pickup. Yes.
You know what? So if I got to go one way or the other, I'm going to go Minnesota Vikings. I don't like the Chargers defense more than I don't like the Chargers defense a lot more than I don't like the Vikings defense. But I have to go with Justin Jefferson being the best receiver in all the NFL. I think he's going to burn through that Chargers secondary. On top of that, the fact that they got that young stud Jordan Addison, who's come out really good the first couple games. So I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings. So Laura, this is basically a pickup. Which way are you going?
What's that game again?
Chargers, Vikings.
The Chargers. They need a win. I mean, Brandon Staley's seat is getting warmer and warmer.
Oh, bro, it's not warm.
Those
bro.
are 2 wins they shouldn't have had.
Oh, dude, that thing is not burning. That thing is steaming. That boy is steaming.
All right,
I mean,
Ron, what do you got?
I'm going with my guy, Jay Herbo. Justin Herbert and the Chargers will win a game. They will win.
Oh my God, that game's gonna probably be the game of the week all across the NFL. I mark my words.
If the Chargers lose that game, Brandon Staley's not getting on the plane. Mark my words.
Ooh, hot take. All right, what's next?
Carolina Panthers, Seattle Seahawks. You already know where I stand with this. Seattle Seahawks -5.5.
All right.
Are they
Seahawks
playing
minus
the
5.5. I
dog?
know where you stand with this. You already picked the Seahawks -5.5 already, so I know where you're going with this. I'm going Seattle -5.5 as well. I'm really just thinking to myself that Bryce Young is, well, he's young and he's got a long way to go. But if you're going into Seattle, which is a very loud environment, and on top of that, you're trying to come out of an 0-2 slump, it's going to be hard to do that against the Geno Smith-led Seahawks team that is this explosive. Laura, where are you going with this?
I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers because I still have faith in Bryce Young. And, even though the offense is still not yet clicking, I feel like that they're going to find a way to come into Lumen Field and win.
Damn right, Darren. Justin Herbert is a stud.
He really is a stud. Justin Herbert is something else. All right, so next up we got
another snooze fest. Kansas City Chiefs, Chicago Bears, Chiefs -12.5. Another snoozer. The fact that this is on a 4 o'clock is a shame for the NFL. This game should be like shot. The Bears should be shot to the moon by now.
I'm sorry, what? I was sleeping. I couldn't hear you.
The Bears got to get blasted to the moon.
I heard the spread. I'm just messing with you. I knew it was -12 on Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, there's really no direction to go. Justin Fields is horrible.
Did anybody else? Did you two see the stat about Justin Fields? I couldn't believe this when I saw this. So CJ Stroud, right, on Sunday, his second NFL start with a trash Texans team, had 300 yards. Justin Fields has never had a 300 yards passing game in 3 years. 3 years. In this modern NFL, Matt, where Tua just threw for 500 yards. You can't throw for 300 yards in 3 years?
Especially with DJ Moore, Chase Claypool,
Not
and
even that,
Darnell
just
Mooney.
in general. 3 years?
Yeah.
CJ Stroud did it in his second start.
Yeah.
His second start. Like,
Horrible.
what are we doing?
Horrible. So there goes my prediction of a Bears having a 4,000 yard passing this year. There goes that. Laura, where are you going with this? I think I know where you're going. Where are you going with this?
Can you say the game again?
Doesn't matter. Chiefs. Chiefs.
I'm
Bears.
going with Kansas City.
Chiefs, Bears.
That's going to be an easy win for the Chiefs.
Oh, of course it is.
I gotta go Chiefs as well. This is just too obvious.
Oh, yeah. Next, we got Dallas Cowboys, Arizona Cardinals. Another snoozer. The fact that these two games are on at 4:25, literally, you guys can take a nap for 3 hours at 4 o'clock. You just don't watch. Don't watch.
Well, Laura and I are calling the Raiders-Steelers game. So, honestly, that probably gives us a good time to catch up on sleep during the 4:25 slate.
Literally,
Because
snooze fest. Good Lord.
what I don't understand is, like, why – and the crazy part is the Dallas Cowboys are probably going to get that primetime slot on CBS that they always get.
Well, like, what are we doing? Like, it's on Fox. Like, why? Like, they should be able to flex games out from week 1. Like, there is no way that you are telling me that there are more than 5 people that want to sit there like, I want to watch the Cowboys and the Cardinals, or I want to watch the Chiefs and the Bears. Like, no. Like, you put these terrible games on at 1 o'clock because there's 17 other games you can watch.
Yeah.
Nobody cares to watch the Dallas Cowboys beat the Cardinals by 35 points or the Chiefs to beat the Bears by 35. Like, nobody cares.
No.
Like, can we move the Chargers game? Can we move the Chargers Vikings from 1 o'clock to 4? Like, please, can we flex that in there?
Yeah. We need to petition that because that's.
Can we flex, like, I don't know. Can we, like, flex the Broncos and Dolphins? Packers, Bills? Like, can we put in, like, any other games, like, into the 4:25? Not these two just god-awful games?
And a big D I agree with you. Packers and Bills are the picks of the week. So.
Damn right.
All right. So, obviously, I think we're all going Cowboys in this Cowboys-Cardinals game, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Laura, Cowboys, correct?
Yeah, I think the Cowboys are going to beat the Cardinals pretty easily.
Yeah. Next.
Like I said, Micah Parsons 3 sacks. Calling it. All right, what's next?
Easy over. Next game. Dreadful Pittsburgh Steelers. Dreadful Vegas Raiders. Raiders minus 1.5 points.
The fact that the Raiders are favored, I know they're at home in Vegas, but I am going to say I'm kind of surprised. First off, I know you're pissed at Kenny Pickett for reasons that we'll get into later.
Kenny Pickett is just no. I'm pissed at Kenny Pickett for not reasons that he's bad at football.
Okay.
I'm mad at Kenny Pickett because they're the almighty Pittsburgh Steelers that nobody says the reality that Kenny Pickett is garbage. He is not good at football. He got a lucky 75-yard touchdown to George Pickens. So lucky. Like everybody wants to be, Zach Wilson is this, Zach Wilson is that. Kenny Pickett is garbage. Garbage. But he's on the all high and mighty Pittsburgh Steelers, so nobody says a damn word.
Yeah, all right, so Raiders minus 1.5. I'm actually going to go on the opposite side of the spectrum. I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers plus 1.5. I think Jimmy G going up against that defense is going to be really, really brutal to watch. Laura, where are you going with this? Steelers, Raiders?
I'm going to pick the Raiders. I think because this is their home opener. Jimmy Garoppolo's going to ball out. But this Steeler defense is going to be a test for the Raiders. And we got to see if Devontae Adams is going to be coming back.
That's a good point. I forgot to mention that he's concussed right now, or he's getting evaluated for concussion. Ryan, where do you go with this?
I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I agree. Jimmy G is another just turnover machine. Deshaun Watson had 2 picks yesterday. Jimmy G is about to have 3. Just watch. Yeah. TJ Watt, Matty, you know how you said Micah Parsons? 3 sacks? TJ Watt, 3 sacks. Book it.
Wow. So those are some prop bets for you. TJ Watt 3 sacks and Micah Parsons 3 sacks. All right, what's the final game?
Final 2.
Final 2. All right, we got doubleheader again.
Yeah. They're not as much of snoozers, but we got the Eagles and the Bucks. Eagles minus 5.5.
Okay. The Eagles and Bucks, Bucks have been surprising. Post Tom Brady era, they're 2-0. Albeit shocking the Vikings on the road was kind of surprising. But the way they beat the Bears was kind of impressive. I am going to say this. I think that the ride ends with Baker Mayfield in Philadelphia, or against the Philadelphia Eagles. It's going to end there because this Eagles team is just too damn good. Too damn good. I'll take the minus 5.5 easily for the Philadelphia Eagles. Laura, where are you going with this? Eagles, Bucks.
This Bama boy, Jalen Hurts.
I am going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles, continuing that 3-0 train. I mean, the Bucks, they're lucky to be 2-0, but they shouldn't be 2-0.
Yeah, I agree with that because the Minnesota game was just pure luck. Ryan, where are you going with this? Ryan, Eagles, Bucks.
I'm gonna go the Philly Eagles as well. I think they shouldn't be that close. Philly should handle business.
All right. So by the way, for those of you who are wondering, the Philly Tampa Bay game is the one that Laura and I are going to call. What's the last game?
You picked the wrong game on Monday to call, my boys, because the next game is about to be a super hot banger. LA Rams, Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals a minus 1.5.
Super Bowl 56 rematch. Interesting.
In the jungle.
In the jungle. But the question is, Joe Burrow, will he be healthy to play? The Bengals are not off to a good start. The Rams. First off, Puka Nacua. Remember that name. Puka Nacua.
Hell yeah.
Because
Cooper
he
Kupp
has the most reception in a receiver's first 2 games in NFL history with 25 catches. That's unbelievable. That's number 1. Number 2, this Rams offense led by Matthew Stafford looks like they're back on track. They might be playoff consideration again. What's the spread again, Ryan? Please refresh.
1.5. 1.5 to the Bengals.
1.5 for the Bengals. The Bengals desperately need to win.
1.5 Bengals.
All right, you're going 1.5.
It's tough for me. It's very tough. Very, very tough because you think about the Rams, right? And they shouldn't on paper beat the Bengals. They shouldn't because their defense is not what it was. Yeah, sure, Aaron Donald is still just filth, right? But like that's about it on their defense, right? And on offense, like sure, Matt Stafford, Puka Nacua, right? But like you would think that Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, right? You think they should be able to beat this team. And I don't know. I'm gonna say the Bengals because I can't see a way the Bengals start out 0-3. I can't. I can't see a way because if they start out 0-3, oh God, oh God.
Yep. Let's get rid of that. All right. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bengals as well. I think that this team is just way too talented. All right, Laura, what do you think? Bengals and Rams.
If Joe Burrow is healthy, Bengals win.
Good morning, Lauro. Nice to see you pop up.
Based on the spread with Laura knows. Now, to conclude the show, we got fantasy, football, fantasy, football, fantasy. Okay,
You keep that
so
same energy all year, man. You keep that same energy.
I love it. Listen, I love fantasy football. All right, so anyway, we're gonna go over the scores first. The big matchup of the week was me versus Ryan Jr. I beat Ryan 125.14 to 118.36, and the reason why was because Nick Chubb getting hurt killed him.
No. Multiple. Four reasons. Four.
What
The
was
fact
it?
that
Devil
Trevor
was number
Lawrence.
two.
The fact that Trevor Lawrence just 13 points. Really? Calvin Ridley 5 points. Really? Nick Chubb, you got to rip your knee in half. Come on. And then Kenny Pickett. Can we complete a pass? Like, can we complete a simple slant, please? Like, Kenny Pickett. Like, just watching that game, Maddie. It was the third quarter, and George Pickens didn't get a catch for a quarter and a half.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Like, I swear to God, Maddie, like the whole game after halftime was a 20-yard catch to Pickens, 3 and out, pick six game. It was like, bro, it was like, can they do anything on offense? I lost for 4 reasons, but I can't. I'm not gonna get killed by a Steeler because like it's just Kenny Pickett is so bad at football, so bad. But God, thank God that the Jags are playing the Texans, and the Cowboys defense might get damn near 30 points again. Oh, thank God for this.
All right. So, barring the frustration, we had 5 other matchups. We had Hinkle McCrinkleberry beat Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai falls to 0-2, and Lamar Jackson is questionable, but like I said, he's going to play. Hinkle McCrinkleberry had the 2 Eagle double dip, so he was good there. He won 131 to 120. Weary Traveler, close call versus Sunday Sauce, but he won 138.9 to 132.5. Any Given Sunday, 108.1, the worst team in the league, 2-0 from last year. Versus One Giant Lead, 97.34. Team Overtime beat a newcomer 142 to 104, and then Red Mama, your brother, 134 to 107. Now, for those of you who saw the Siriani Says Sports Facebook page, and I think Ryan saw this too.
Very well written. Very well written by Darren. I'll give you that, Darren. Very well.
My father came up with some really, really good writing
written.
To describe the games and matchups that happened this week. So that's going to be a new weekly thing that we put on the Facebook page for fantasy season, because that was gold. Reading everything and just digest and just telling the story of what happened with the matchup and who went off, who didn't go off, what mistakes were made, yada, yada, yada. Like, it all worked out. So if Darren Siriani, I know you're watching this, Dad, awesome job. Now, as far as people who are looking to replace Nick Chubb in your fantasy lineup, if you're looking at the waiver wire, here are a couple names that you probably should look out for. Jerome Ford, mentioned him earlier. He's going to be the starting running back for the Cleveland Browns. And then another name is Zach Moss, who is going to be the starting running back for the Indianapolis Colts because Deion Jackson just can't seem to stay healthy and just can't be consistent with his carries. So those are the 2 names that I would easily replace Nick Chubb with. And also Kareem Hunt is a contemporary third if you are looking for if he doesn't indeed end up becoming a starting running back or a backup running back for the Cleveland Browns. But one last thing before we get into sponsors, and I actually want to give a shout out to people because that's what I like to do. I like to give a shout out to people. So on Monday night, before Laura and I called the Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Browns game, I was on the What's Up podcast with Randy Couray, Lily Schumacher, and Jake Cardinale. Now, who are these big people? You're probably pointing at the Patrick Stark game going, who are you people? But let me just explain who these 3 people are. Randy Couray, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his last name right. Randy is a guy from Canada, Big Toronto Blue Jays fan, big Toronto Raptors fan, all things Canada, big Canadian guy, and just very, very knowledgeable with basketball and other sports. College football isn't his strong suit, but he knows college a little bit enough to know some college sports, so he's
Go
really good at
ball.
that. So Randy is the host of the What's Up podcast. He invited me on to come on and talk a lot about baseball, and it was really, really fun. I got to give a shout out to Randy. He really made me feel comfortable being on the program. And then also give a shout out to the other two guys. Lily Schumacher is from the Midwestern part of the country. She is all things Brew Crew and all things Packers. She's a big Wisconsinite sports wise. She is from Illinois though, which is kind of interesting because Wisconsinite sports fan in Illinois. You got the Bulls and the Bucks who are division rivals. You got the Bears and the Packers who are division rivals. Then you got the Cubs and the Brewers in baseball who are division rivals. But Lily's great at what she does. She has her other podcast called Pitches Be Crazy, which you can listen to on wherever you get your podcast. Like I said, it's called Pitches Be Crazy. Then also Jake Cardinale is from, I think, the New York area, if I'm not mistaken. And he's a diehard New York Jets fan.
My guy.
So I might have him on just to please Ryan one of these days.
Another suffering brethren, welcome to the club. Welcome to misery.
So Jake is an awesome guy, knowledgeable sports fan, also a Mets fan as well. But the three of them, it was just so great being on the show with them. And if you want to know more about Randy's podcast, the What's Up podcast, he has an Instagram. It's called What's Up Podcast. I think it's what it's called. He has his own YouTube channel, What's Up Podcast. Go follow Randy. Awesome guy, awesome show. Great 1.5, 2 hour segment where you can just digest and just tune in to listen to sports talk. So that's why I got to do that. But now it's time to get into our sponsors to conclude tonight's show. And like I said, we thank a lot of the people who support. And we're going to start off with our first sponsor. This is Outback Steakhouse in Middletown, Aussie Rules, Valix Enterprises, building projects for success. And by the way, also for Valix Enterprises, there will be a golf outing on Monday. This Monday, September 25th, there will be a golf outing. I forget the golf club this will be at, but my Uncle Joey, who owns Valix Enterprises, will be having a golf outing in support of a very important charity. I think it's the 9/11 Project. For those of you who don't know, if you lost someone on September 11th, this is the charity for you. I also want to give a shout out to Joey Doyle and his family, who passed away on 9/11 22 years ago today. Joey and your family were thinking about you clearly, and I'm glad that my Uncle Joey is having a very important cause for the 9/11 families. Next up, sponsor, DAS Technology Consulting, simplifying technology. Jag One Physical Therapy, official therapy provider for the teams you love. The Grace Foundation of New York, support, empower, educate, enhance. The Integrated Planning Group, client-focused, advice-driven. And by Rocco's Original Italian Ice, a sweet summertime treat all year round. Now, before we actually conclude the sponsors, I do want to give a congratulations to the owner of Rocco's Original Italian Ice. He's expected to have little Devin Jr., so Devin Rocco and our uncle and our cousin Jillian. Congratulations, guys, on your little baby, and I hope he is raised really, really well. And I have no
Another
doubt
cousin, yes.
Another little cousin.
Another Jeff Ben, yes.
But
I'm sorry in advance, little buddy, but it's gonna happen. Another suffering Jeff Ben.
We'll see how Devin Jr. is raised. But again, congratulations to Devin and Jillian. Best wishes to Devin Jr. But for those of you who are wondering how you can watch this podcast, for those who are watching, thank you very much. You can follow us on Facebook at Siriani Sports, on Instagram at Siriani Sports, on Twitter at Siriani Sports, and on YouTube at Siriani Sports. Me, Ryan, and Laura put on a really good show. And again, this was another successful night. So anyway, from Laura Antonio and Ryan Barrett Jr., I'm Matt Siriani. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to tonight's episode. And I'm going to try and reach out to Jake, Lily, and Randy to see if they want to come on because I told them about the show and they loved the idea and the concept and they were all in for it. I think I'm going to try and get Jake on first just so Ryan can have a little bit of pride.
Preferably next Tuesday. There's going to be a lot of pain on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of pain. So preferably Wednesday.
But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Have a good night. Stay safe. And, of course, Peace out.
Have a great night, everyone.